Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about an excerpt from chapter 13 of Think and Grow Rich. Now, this chapter talks about the brain and how it's a broadcasting and receiver station for thought. Now, Think and Grow Rich, if you haven't read it, it's one of the first self-help books and goes all the way back to Napoleon Hill. And it really is, at least I imagine it is, one of the catalysts and one of the doors that opened up into the vastness of the personal growth movement. So I want to start this by asking if you still really think that the person cutting you off in line, or the deadlines at work, or that new bag that you just purchased, or the new car, the new house, whatever, are the most essential things that happen to you today. These are the most important things that are going on in your life. Really? Do you still think so? The work that I've been doing recently, it really it smacked me over the head like a bag of bricks. And to be honest, it's been awesome. I finally, for the first time, felt like an outside observer of the things that are going on in my life and all around me. So I've kind of become the witness. Just witnessing small quarrels, people playing the he said, she said game, getting caught up in the day-to-day stuff. And for one of the first times, I really understood just how meaningless all of these little blips really are. In comparison to the grand scheme of it all, we really are having this human experience for a short time. And to be tied up in the mundane, argumentative, repetitive aspects of life, when life is truly meant to be enjoyed, life is meant to be explored, and we're really meant to be living it, really is honestly just sad. And only doing ourselves and each other such a disservice. So whatever you do, don't take this moment or this one or this one or this one for granted. It really truly is the only one that we get. It's the only moment that there is. And we only get so many moments to live our life to the fullest. So what are you spending your moments on? Embrace the people, the beautiful things, and the love in your life. Seek clear expression, clear communication, and let your voice be heard. Let go of the distractions, the arguments, the blame game, the victim game. Let go of it all to create more balance and enjoyment. Step outside of your box, of the mainstream narrative, of the programmed way of being and showing up in your life, and think big. And for God's sake, enjoy the ride. It's maybe the only time that you get. It's maybe the only ride that you get, so far as we know. Remember in another video I talked about the law of correspondence? As above, so below. As below, so above. Have you ever taken a look at brain scans or the internal components of the eye as compared to the universe? They look very, very similar. It's interesting. Think about it, feel into it. I imagine that this is actually what's going on. And this all ties in very nicely with that excerpt from Think and Grow Rich, which I said is one of the most life-changing books of all time. So here is the excerpt. So in chapter 13, he says, already men of science have begun to turn their attention to the study of this stupendous thing called the brain. They have uncovered enough knowledge to know that the central switchboard of the human brain, the number of lines which connect the brain cells one with another, equal the figure 1 followed by 15 million ciphers. The figure is so stupendous, said Dr. C. Judson Herrick of the University of Chicago, that astronomical figures dealing with hundreds of millions of light years become insignificant by comparison. Just think about that. Feel into that. It has been determined that there are from 10 billion to 14 billion nerve cells in the human cerebral cortex. And we know that these are arranged in definite patterns. These arrangements are not haphazard, they are orderly. Recently developed methods of electrophysiology draw off action currents from very precisely located cells or fibers with microelectrodes, amplify them with radio tubes, and record potential differences to a millionth of a volt. It is inconceivable that such a network of intricate machinery should be in existence for the sole purpose of carrying on the physical function incidental to growth and maintenance of the physical body. Is it not likely that the same system which gives billions of brain cells the media for communication one with another provides also the means of communication with other intangible forces? I've talked in my other videos about the collective consciousness and what we're tuning into, and what we're choosing to give our focus to, therefore our attention, therefore our energy. All of that can change, right? And when we think of a new thought or think about what we want versus perceiving through the senses, then we are changing neurology. We're creating a new neural synapse in the brain. And if we return to that thought over and over again, we're starting to change the physiology in the body, right? So we're creating evidence that a future potential exists. There's also something called entrainment that happens. And the more coherence I come into within myself, within my brain, within my heart, right? If I'm in a group of people and we're all coming into coherence, right? Let's say we're at a retreat, right? I liken the retreat when everybody gets there to everybody's on a different station, everybody's on a different frequency. But then as we come together and are in the same energy or in the same space or perceiving the same things and having the same conversations and learning the same stuff and in the same meditations, then we all start to tune to the same frequency. And that's the coherence. And as I become more coherent within myself, it supports the next person and the next person and the next person and so forth, right? And vice versa. And so that coherence begets more coherence. We're all on the same frequency and we're able to crank the volume up, right? And that's when we start to be able to connect to the unified field and beautiful, incredible, miraculous things begin to happen. So just ponder, just go within and feel, think, feel, turn off the thinking mind and think from the heart and connect. Ask for information around the brain, around those 10 to 14 billion neural pathways. I invite you to ponder this and really go deeply with it. Because when we stop using our brains and connect our hearts with our brains in more coherence and open our hearts, feel and lead from that space, we really can become a conduit, channel for the divine, for source, for God, for the unified field, which is infinite energy and information to flow to and through us. So what are you tuning into? What are you thinking about on a daily basis? What are you giving your attention, your intention, your focus to? Is it all of this stuff over here, the old paradigm, the old narrative, the fear, right, the scarcity? Or are you tuning into a new narrative, a new paradigm, a new frequency? I invite you to ask yourself those questions and to start the journey into a new frequency, into a new narrative, a new paradigm. Join us at Origin Network as we've got an ecosystem, we've got a community which is connected to so many other brilliant minds and so many other brilliant communities, solutions as I like to look at, for all the problems that we have in our world. Solutions and deeper connections, deeper, more elevated health and consciousness for each of us, for each of you. And I want to support you on that journey. So come along for the ride, come along for the journey. If you like this video, click subscribe, hit the like button, turn on your notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.